All right, my systems and procedures, folks. Let's take a look at what you're going to be doing in here. This is stuff I talked about first day of class, but I wanted this video to be a part of the information in case you need to refer to it. So you'll be accessing this video up here at the top of getting started as usual. Now, in this class, there's actually this pre-assessment, and it's actually worth points. Now, I want to do this in this class for you. So a pre-assessment is basically the same thing as what the post-assessment is. So it gives you a really good idea of, number one, what the final is going to look like. And number two, what do you really know about this topic area? So don't feel any stress for the pre-assessment. You shouldn't study for it. You shouldn't do anything. You should just take it. Just take it. And basically you get 25 points for that. And I'll make sure of that because I'm not sure how they're going to do their grading here. So I'll make sure the grading is correct on that. And it doesn't matter if you get a 50 on that or a 100, which is not going to happen. You'll basically get the same points. That's what a pre-assessment is valuable for the student for. So that I just wanted you to have that opportunity so you could see, hey, this is what's in the course. This is actually what will be on the final. Those questions? No, of course not. It'll be different. All right, so each one of these modules is laid out in weeks, all the way down through 13. And this is, 14. I don't know why I said 13. There's the final. And it uses Cengage. So if you've already got a Cengage account, if you've already got Cengage Unlimited, which is what I've tried to get you guys to do. I already got Cengage Unlimited, then you already have access to this. Cengage Unlimited is exactly what I'm using in the operating systems class, securing operating systems and operating systems. Those are very, very similar classes. So if you're in that, no problem. You get Cengage for one, it's Cengage for both, right? That's why we did the unlimited thing. That's all the information about it. Buy Cengage Unlimited. That's everything about it. But basically, I'm just telling you up front, you create a Cengage account with them. If you purchase a 2-year, that'll cover you the whole time you're here at Eastern Arizona College. It's like $200, but it'll be, sure, I think 3 of my courses, maybe 4, I can't remember. And then the same for Lydia Mata, right? So that's really cheap. And so that really, I'm trying to offset the cost here of having to, in the cybersecurity, having to use EC Council, which is really expensive, and then having to use Test Out, which is expensive, which, by the way, those two things are on par with everybody else's stuff, just so you know. So when I say really expensive, I don't mean more expensive than this other place that does the same thing. I mean, it's expensive just across the board. So anyway, this is what you're going to be going through. That's the topics. And let's take a look. Let's just jump into, we'll jump into one that'll make you feel good, hardware and software. So basically what this course is all about is it's how does IT, how does programming, how does cybersecurity, how does that stuff fit into an organization or a business, right? Because most businesses are not just cybersecurity businesses, right? They're a big company like IBM that has their own cybersecurity teams, right? They have teams of people that do that. And so how does that fit within that? And that's an important factor. It is very, very business. This is very much a business class that is taken across the board. So if somebody went in and said, I want a bachelor's or an MBA or something like that, they would take a class just like this. That's what this is about, basically. So you go through all these different topics kind of from a business standpoint, and it's easier. I'm just going to tell you flat out, this class is a lot easier than dealing with networking, which is the same semester, or operating systems. This is a lot easier stuff. A lot of times I get people that just blow it off. And so you will note I have open and close dates on all this stuff. So I might extend the date on something, but it's not going to come back open. I'm running pretty much all my classes that way. You need to keep on top of your work. And if you're not going to keep on top of it, you're going to know pretty soon whether or not you're failing a class or not, right? But this is what it is, right? Let me open up 5 here. Wow, 5's a little longer, right? There's really not a lot of stuff to do in here. So you will know, there's anything that's got the point values are going to be points, right? That's going to be what counts. So this concept video and quiz just shows you a video about a concept and you answer, not joking, 1, maybe 2 questions on that. These, to me, this is like, there's no reason not to get 100 on these. Yeah, it's a video that you have to watch and you probably don't care about green computing, but when you do it and then score well on it, that's worth just as much points as this use it is and this quiz is. So it takes a lot less time to do it. So when you go to reinforce, that's going to actually prepare you for the module use it. That's what it's going to prepare you for. And then review is going to prepare you for the quiz. That's what it's going to do. And these all link to Cengage. They all go over to Cengage. And so I'm going to, we'll take a look at each one of these so you can see what it's like. And then the video will be done. And it's there for you, right? You can come back and look at this at any time. So I'm not going to show you this one. That's pretty easy. You click on it, it takes you over to the chapter. That's what that does. I'm actually, we'll pull this one up. We'll pull it up. Every single one of these always has you, click the second thing. It's a Canvas thing. You get a button and you have to click it. So it's always a click. I'm one of those people that drives me nuts when you have to do that. So you wait until it loads. Don't do anything. Wait until it loads. Right, and there it is. So you watch the video. That sounds so cool. No, it doesn't really, but anyway. Good job, Chelsea. Get a face. Okay, so I'm gonna come to the end, which unfortunately you can do too. And then you have to answer the question. I'm not going to answer that question. But yeah, if this was a concept you actually knew, you could jump through a 2-minute video, well, almost 3 minutes, and actually answer the question. And I'm saying, like, it's 3 minutes, guys. Come on. Okay, now the thing you need to know if you've never used Canvas, so really quickly, if you click that and close it, it takes you to this interface. I have not set up anything in here. And I will have students that'll be like, okay, so what's next? What do I do? Yeah, I'm not using this. None of this is set up for you. What I'm telling you is stay out of it, right? You could go in here and do work if you want to. It's not like you're going to get extra points for doing that. But it won't send it back over to Canvas because you did it over here. Now, every so often I will sync the grades, but I'm expecting that you instead of closing that, right, you would have finished it and then said, I can now close this window and go back to Canvas and kick on the next assignment. There are a bunch of tools in here. You can take a look at them. I'm not going to spend time on it because you want to do that, you can do it, but no reason to spend time over there unless you really, really want to use some of those tools. All right, so I go back over to Canvas, and then that was the concept video. So let's go to Module 4 Reinforce. Oh, there's the button again. Let's take some clicking to get there. It's one thing I hate about the improvement of everything being on the web. So there's a lot of clicking. All right, so there we are. There's basically hardware, software, core. What the heck is a core? Flip the card. Receives instruction, performs calculations and actions based on those instructions. Now, some of you that have been in my other classes, you know what a core is, right? That's part of the CPU. And different books explain it different ways. I'm not going to lie to you. To me, a core is a part of the CPU, right? It's part of what happens. In another class, I talk about the fact that it's really when you have 3 or 4 cores, you have 3 or 4 CPUs. They just stuck it all into one, right? So some of this, you're going to see, hey, in this other class, I learned that it was this definition. Yeah, it's both, really, right? It depends on how you're talking about it, where you're talking about it. Anyway, so let's go to previous card workstation. I don't know why it started at the end. Where's my next card? Anyway, there's next card. So next card, flip the card. Right, so it's a way to study. That's fantastic. So if we go down to modules and you went through that, then you're going to be ready for our use it. So let's take a look at use it. So we did reinforce, we flipped some cards back and forth. And now let's take a look at use it. So there's that screen you don't want to mess with. Yeah, start assignment. They tell you, hey, beware. It's a test. It is. It's a slightly more dynamic test. I'm not even watching this. I'm making a pretty pattern. Anyway, it's a test. So when you use it, that's basically what you're doing. It's a little more interactive, right? Yeah, woo, that's nice. Anyway, that's what that is. So you would, finish it, mark it up, do what you're going to do. Let me show you. I should submit this. You can save it at the bottom, which is nice because you might be at home doing this, you might be in class doing this, you run out of time. Let's just hit continue to take, there's save, and you can just hit save and it will take you right back to where you were. So this is awesome. Use save when you need it. I'm going to submit it. And that's the other thing. You may save it and then not remember that you never submitted it and go, why does that have a 0 in Canvas? I did that. Well, go check and see if you submitted it, right? So that's what you're going to do. It'll actually, when you submit it, it saves the state and then sends it back. And it's like, dude, you really did bad. And this is the score that will go back over to Canvas. Of course, it's not going to do it for me because I don't have a student account there. So anyway, that is using it. Now let's take a look at review. Review is not as fun as reinforce. Reinforce is PowerPoints. Here comes the PowerPoints. That's what it is. Not joking. Chapter 4, PowerPoint. Jump to card 6. And that's what it is. It's a PowerPoint. So that's why I say it's not as much fun. And then finally, the quiz. Now you're ready to take this quiz, and we'll go ahead and load it so you can see it. But basically, it looks just like the use it's the same type of interface. It's usually not as interactive, like click here, click there. It's usually more of an A, B, C, or D, type this in kind of a thing, but you can see that it's the same. And that's really what you do every single week. Now, you don't have to follow it in the order I followed it in. So jumping back to modules, right? You may say, you know what? I'm going to take a look at the reading. And the reading, of course, is going to have a chapter, and then it's going to have all the key points in it. So, I'm expecting you guys to do your job and to come out and actually check this stuff. Not be like a lot of students these days, like, well, they said we didn't need to, so I just won't ever check it out and get bad grades. Right, so there's your chapter. There's everything that's in that chapter, and I can go to key terms, and I can go through each one of these. Right, so you guys know a lot about this particular subject because you take other classes on it, and so you could go through here and say, is there anything I don't know about? What, like, oh, an embedded system, I don't know that. You can just brush up on that by using the chapter, and you can jump right there. Click that button, jump over and say, well, what are they really going to ask me on that test? What's going to be on the test? Let's take a look at the self-assessment. It's just straight out of a book. That's all it is. But you can see what they're going to ask you. Use your materials to get a good grade, right? And you don't have to plunk down through it the way I have it. You may say, what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go, talking about myself, I'm going to open up the reading and I'm going to read the summary. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to come down here and use review to take a look at the PowerPoints. And then I'm pretty much going to be ready for the use it and the quiz. right? So you can mix it up however you need it to make sure that you get the stuff done. That's really it. That's really what you're doing. Now, down here in the due portions, I do have some SQL labs, essentials to the real world. This is a lab prerequisite for SQL. So I do introduce you to some labs that you get to do, SQL basics. But again, not a lot of stuff, not like dealing with anything that you do for the EC Council or test out. Do not blow it off. Make sure you're getting the stuff turned in on time. Make sure if you have problems with any of the content that you let me know, and make sure that if you haven't done anything with Cengage, that you take a look at how do I buy this. And so I'm going to tell you flat out, you have to use, this is in a lot of other material that I do, you have to get Cengage Unlimited because you have to have MindTap. You cannot get this one and expect to get the work done. You have to have this one. You have to. And you can get it for 1 month if you're just like, no, I'm just taking this class and I don't plan on ever taking any other classes at EA. I would say that's not a good thing to do, just because a lot of my students after taking one class will go, oh, I want to take more. So at least do the 12 months, which is $189. And I would say do 2 years. If you're in a program, 2 years. When you hit buy it now, right, well, it's going to go through the same kind of situation of creating a login and doing all that stuff and paying them, all that. And then that way, maybe once over here in Canvas, when you click on this after you've purchased, it should just automatically go in because you did that on another tab and it'll remember all that stuff. But if it may say, hey, who are you? And you type in what you created on Cengage here and you're done. And the same thing for any of the other classes that you would do. So again, you might also be in operating systems or securing operating systems. And it's the same situation. You create that one login for Cengage Unlimited and you're set to go. And you use in both classes. So it really is a great deal. If you have any questions, though, let me know. But that's basically what this class is going to be about. And I'm glad to have you in class. I think it's a fun, it takes some study, but it's not heavily study. It should take you less time to get through the material, but that doesn't mean ignore it, right? See you later.